Hi everybody, it's Melissa again. This section I am going to tell the story. I just want to show you I found a picture of Maddie in her ultrasound. This was 28 weeks. This is when we found out that she was sick as she was. I also wanted to show, this is my daughter Savannah. She was so excited I was pregnant and having a baby. That's my big old belly right there. And then I also wanted to show this picture here. Big belly. This was 2 weeks before I went into the hospital, so this was 31 weeks right here. This is caused from the hydrops. I gained a lot of amniotic fluid, more than a regular pregnant woman would. Just to sum up my story a little bit, I was pregnant with a child who had Turner syndrome and hydrops. She got the hydrops because of the Turner syndrome. At 12 weeks, we got told she had Down syndrome, so we were seeing a Down syndrome specialist. At 28 weeks, we got told, 25 weeks, they found fluid on the left side of her heart. There was a hole on the left side of her heart that just kind of cleared up on its own, which was kind of weird for us. At that point, we still thought she had Down syndrome. And we went in, there was nothing there, but they found fluid. So the woman didn't tell us much what was going on. This was at Boston Children's Hospital. She couldn't tell us much. It wasn't her field, stuff like that. So they sent us to Tufts Medical. It's supposed to be a really good hospital. I personally don't like it there. I will never go back there. Just because I went up by myself. We have a 2-year-old daughter, and we couldn't find a babysitter that day, so my husband stayed home with her. And I remember laying down on the table and the technician looking over at me and going, "I'll be back, I have to go get a doctor." Those words are words you never want to hear when you are pregnant. I don't care who you are. Those are the scariest words in the world. And so she came back with this doctor, and the doctor was like, "Do you have anybody here with you? Is there anybody in the waiting room you want to bring in?" And I was like, "No, I'm here by myself. Is there something wrong with the baby?" And she was like, "Well, I'd rather tell you when you have family here to support you." And I go, "No, you need to tell me what's going on with my daughter. I'll call my family if I find it that necessary." I mean, I have to remind you that I thought she had Down syndrome and didn't think it was anything serious. She looked over at me as blunt as could be and said, "Your daughter's dying. Do you want to go downstairs and start inductions?" I told her that I wanted to wait and talk to my family. I ended up, the first person I called was my husband. I was still in the room at the ultrasound room at the time, and I told him that our daughter was dying and she was very sick, and that was probably the worst thing I could ever do because he was home alone with our daughter, Savannah, and he kind of lost it. He started crying, and it was just a traumatic situation. I called my dad. I'm such a daddy's girl, and I wanted him to be with me in the worst way. So I called my dad, and my mom lives really far away, so I really wanted her to be there, but I didn't want her to drive all the way down because it was so far, and it was just, I felt so horrible with everything that was going on. So my dad left work, immediately came up. I called my stepmom to pick up Pat and my daughter Savannah because he was kind of losing it and he needed support. I'm so thankful for her. She just packed all her stuff up and told her boss, "I'll see you later," and came down, so it was really nice. My mom was going to do the same thing, and I really wish that she was there that day, but I just felt so bad with her driving so far, and it was already late in the day, and we didn't really know what was going on, so I wanted to find out more before she came down. So it breaks my heart she wasn't there, and I really wish she was, but anyways, so, they sat down with us and told us they wanted to do an amniocentesis, they wanted to do this, and they're kind of just throwing things in our face, and they're telling me that there's no chance she's going to survive, and it's just like all this stuff thrown at me the same day I get told this, and I'm just like, oh my god. So I told them I wanted to get a second opinion, so we were there for like 4.5 hours, and we finally left, and my dad and my stepmom actually brought us to Fire and Ice for the first time the day I found out my daughter was dying, and it was really nice because, it made us get our mind off things, and it was like we didn't have to think about reality at that moment, so it was so nice. And my 2-year-old daughter's running around like a mad woman, and we got to see them cook on the grill in the middle, and it was just a perfect little thing. We got home, and it was like reality hit us again. We had to start calling doctors and specialists and see what we had to do, and all that stuff. I finally contacted Boston Children's Hospital, which I love. I mean, love this hospital. The doctors there, the nurses there were absolutely amazing. I mean, I could not ask for a better place to give birth, to go through the things that I went through. These people were just, oh my gosh. But I went up there, and I was 26 weeks. And we did another ultrasound on Madeline, and the fluid, a little bit of fluid that was on, I'm sorry, the left side of her lung, became on both sides of her lungs. So her lungs were no longer able to grow because there was so much fluid around them. It also seeped into her chest cavity, so her heart wasn't able to grow to what it was supposed to be able to beat. So it was a very shallow heartbeat. So that was at 26 weeks. And the doctor came. We met with the doctor, the specialist, people who dealt with Turner syndrome and hydrops, and you know, babies can live with just Turner syndrome and babies can live with just hydrops, but both of them combined is pretty much not a good situation. So you know, they were explaining that to us, and you know, they didn't want to get our hopes up, but they told us there's still a chance. It's not a very high one. It's a 10% chance that she will survive. She is very, very sick. She's not suffering because she's, you know, still in the womb type deal, which was very pleasing for me and Pat. You know, we wanted to know that she was still okay and everything was going to be okay, so that was really nice. They also kind of explained it a little bit to my daughter because she did come with us. She didn't come with us to everything. I ended up getting an amniocentesis later on that week. My cousin Carol Ann, shout outs to her, kudos to Carol Ann. Thank you very much for everything. She watched Savannah, I can't even tell you how many times. She was just a godsend, you know, because I was going up twice a week. I will actually pull up the picture. This is what they were taking out of me. This is amniotic fluid. This is what amniotic fluid looks like, coming from the belly. They were taking this out of me twice a week. This is a liter of This is a liter of amniotic fluid. This was being removed from my stomach. It's the same way that an amniocentesis is done. They stick the needle in and kind of just sit there. This took 45 minutes every time. So Carolyn had my daughter for like 3 hours, twice a week, 3 times a week, whenever we went up to Boston. Savannah did see this get done a few times, which I absolutely regret because she screams now when I go to the doctor. She's very upset about the whole situation. So, but I so appreciate everything that Carolyn did for me. I love this girl. She was my daughter's, she was Madeline's godmother, and she probably will be the godmother of my next child just because she's that much of a lifesaver. She's a truly amazing person. I also give mad kudos to my mom. I called her, I can't tell you how many times, middle of the night, bawling my eyes out. Didn't know what to do. My stepmom and my dad, same way. They actually lost a baby at 2 months old from crib death. So they kind of knew what was going on. They knew what I was about to face, and it was nice talking to somebody who's been there. My mom also has had a similar situation, so it was nice having people who've been there and done that and kind of know what it's like to lose a baby. So I'm telling you, reach out to support groups and stuff like that to you women who are watching this and are going through this. If they're telling you it's a slim chance, don't get your hopes up, because I did, and it killed me. But back to my story, they were taking that much fluid out of me every week. And we made a plan for when Madeline was born. We met with the NICU. We went up, we made a plan, which was awesome. They were just amazing. And then on a Thursday, I was 32 weeks. I went into labor. My water did not break, but I was in labor. I kept telling my mother-in-law, I'm in labor, it hurts, I gotta sit down, you know. And then at the next morning, Friday morning, I woke up. I told my husband, I was like, we gotta go to the hospital. So mad kudos to Chantel and Dana as well. Carly, you know, we don't talk as much as we used to, but I really appreciate everything that they did for us. They took my daughter Savannah so I could go up to the hospital that day. And I ended up getting admitted to Boston Hospital. I went up there, and the doctor who saw me the whole time was just such a sweetheart. She's Melissa, oh, excited. And I did meet this nurse who was absolutely amazing. She actually had a baby who passed away. My due date with Madeline would have been Christmas Day. She had a baby 2 months before the baby was supposed to be born. So, you know, she was trying to tell us, you know, that, like, she was trying to prepare us about what we were going through and things that were probably going to happen and stuff like that. So it was really nice meeting somebody like that and kind of knowing what was going on. So yeah, and we ended up getting admitted to the hospital. They didn't want to induce me. They wanted to induce me. This doctor didn't. This doctor did. It was kind of crazy. But finally, they decided they're going to induce me. So they induced me Saturday morning at 12 o'clock. I was in labor at that time for 3 days. I was ready for it to be done. So I was in hard labor with Madeline for 17 hours, and I finally gave birth to her. The doctor prepared me, you know, she probably won't come out alive. She, you know, may not be breathing. She may be a stillborn type thing. But I didn't think that. I didn't want to think that. Wasn't even a thought that crossed through my head. I just kept shaking my head. All right. I had a very quiet birth. Nobody spoke no louder than a whisper, which was absolutely calming, amazing. If you have the chance to do it, please do. It's just the greatest feeling in the world. It was, you know, I felt like it was respects to Madeline. My daughter came out with her hand over her head, so it bruised her eyes. I did show a picture. I have it right here. This is my daughter. So her eyes are bruised from her hand coming out, and this is effect of the Down syndrome. I'm sorry, the hydrops. She didn't have Down syndrome. This is the effect of the hydrops, the swollenness in her nose and her cheeks and stuff. And I don't know if you can really see her ears, but her ears are effect of Turner syndrome. And then if you notice, her belly is a little extended. This is also from the hydrops. It's just fluid that's underneath the skin, but I still think she's an amazing, cute little baby. But so I gave birth to her and everything was great. Well, everything wasn't great because her heartbeat was only 96 beats a minute. But my husband got to hold her, my mom, my dad, my stepmom, my birth mom actually sat in a chair and rocked her, and my daughter Madeline actually ended up passing away in my mother's arms, which was just amazing because when I held her when she was alive, I just lost it and screamed, and I didn't want that. I wanted her to go peacefully and nobody crying, and my mom just, she was a soldier. She held her and rocked her, and it was just amazing. So Madeline passed away in my mom's arms, and I held her for 3.5 hours after she passed away. The hospital was absolutely amazing. They never told me that they had to take her. You know, they gave me the option of when I was ready to give her to them so she can go to the morgue and stuff like that, so she can come home. And I appreciate that more than anything in the world because I didn't want to let go. I just went through 4 days of labor, and I wanted to have my baby, and I held her like there was nothing wrong, and it was much easier doing it that way than it was the way I had thought it was going to be. The hardest part for me though was leaving the hospital. I got to leave the next day. They gave me my little box that I already showed everybody, which is this, with a bunch of stuff inside. And it was hard walking out with just this because I knew that it wasn't my daughter. And it's just not the same. You know, mom goes through all that stuff and all that pain, and they want their baby, and unfortunately I didn't get that. I was mad. I cried going out of the parking garage. I blamed myself for a good few weeks. Never once did the thought come across my head that it was my husband's fault. I'm not sure why, but it never did. But it was very hard, and I'm still struggling with it to this day. But my cousin Andrea and her husband Anafel got us this amazing little urn for my daughter. My daughter is in this urn, and I absolutely love it. I could not ask for more than anything in the world than this right here, to have her home with us, and I know she's safe and in something that is just absolutely beautiful. They also made me a necklace. I don't have it. It's in my car, actually. I keep it in my car so I can travel with her because I wore it the first night and I have sensitive skin, so it gave me a rash, but I cannot even explain to them how much I appreciate everything they've done for us. And my family who gave us money, my Aunt Linda gave us money, my Aunt Nancy helped me out tremendously, my Aunt Diane, my grandmother, you know, I love you all and thank you very much for everything. My brother Fred came up to the hospital with his fiance Kayla. You know, it was just, everybody kind of just came together and it was just great. My little brother Nikki was really there for me too. We talked a lot, and you know, he tried to help me as best he could. He'd never been through that situation, doesn't have kids, so it was hard for him, but he still did it. So that's my husband Pat. But you know, everybody pulled together, so it was nice. You know, so what? So once again, this is my story. I will probably make another video just because I'll probably get some comments and some questions. So please feel free, and I can answer anything that you guys need me to. Thank you.